So friends, let's start this exciting evening with an introduction. Let me start with myself. My name is Dr. Samir Karkhanis. I'm a proud alumnus of the Wellinger Institute of Management. This webinar masterclass series also is conducted and hosted by the Wellinger Institute of Management. This is specifically keeping in mind a post-graduation program in entrepreneurship and family business, which we do for first and second generation entrepreneurs who come to Wellinger 7 days every month for an 11-month program. This is around the almost 2 decades we are running this program. So this is the context under which we thought, as an institution of repute, we must help our business community, entrepreneurs, startup founders, to guide them on the next stages, what is going to happen post-COVID. It's all about being positive. It's all about telling them that we are back in business, right? We cannot continue at home and just consume negative information, news, and we, as always, overestimate the losses and underestimate the opportunity in the short term and long term. So we want to do away with that. Everybody has problems and challenges in this time, but then there is where we need experts to show us the light, the way forward, and so that we are on course on what we plan to achieve as business owners. Today we have a very interesting topic, how to digitalize your business. So you could be a traditional, conventional business owner, you could be a jewelry retailer, you could be a huge manufacturer running a family business, you could be into services, into trading, into restaurants, into construction, any kind of businesses, but everybody needs to grow beyond digital marketing into a concept which is known as digital transformation. How do you really look at new businesses, right? And how do you currently incorporate the best practices in the current businesses you are doing? You may have your second generation, or you are looking at investing in new businesses. So what are the businesses of future and how to go ahead with that? And for that, we have requested one of the very senior veterans who've seen this entire digital transformation journey as an entrepreneur first, and a very senior corporate executive now, Mr. Vivek Bhargava. I'm going to introduce him in a while. But before that, I want to introduce you to Mr. Srinivasu. So I am being a part for most of my younger days as a family into a very powerful movement, Roundtable India, and now 41ers Club Association of India. Srinivasu is the area chairman for 41ers Club. He is also a very accomplished entrepreneur, startup investor, and he has been the country manager for business at the Kodak Group before. So he also brings very diverse experience into this discussion, right? So Srinivasu, I would like first you to say a few words, then I'm going to hand over to Vivek. And the idea is, at the end of the webinar, we have invited some young entrepreneurs from across the country who have questions. So we have selected somebody from manufacturing, somebody from retail, and somebody from other services who would also like to interact with you. So Srini, handing over to you, and then I'm going to introduce Vivek. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Samir. On behalf of 41 Clubs of India, I extend a very warm welcome to 41ers, tablers, tangents, circlers, and from friends from across the world. It's really great to have all of you here on this platform to really exchange ideas. Back to Business series is really to get everybody back from the COVID downtime and actually planning to really take our businesses to the next level. 41ers and Roundtable members across the country are working very hard, doing what they are best known for, doing selfless community service, helping both the migrant labor, giving PPE kits to the hospital staff, the police people, and the municipality team members. So thank you everybody across to doing your little bit to bring relief to all those affected. Both tablers and 41ers are first and second generation business owners, both from MSME and SME sectors. Most of us are from traditional business, and now we are looking at how to bring digital tools and data analytics to really take our business to the next level. And in some way to also ensure that we don't get impacted by some of the disruptive forces. We really are lucky to have Vivek today with us. Vivek is the best in the game, who has seen it from all the sides, and I had the pleasure of meeting him many times. So Vivek, we are all very excited to have you here, learn from you, and take some of the best practices back to our business. Thank you, Samir, for organizing this. I'm very excited. Thank you again from 41ers Clubs.
So thank you, Srini, for that. Friends, let me also tell you, Srini is a very in-demand ACC certified coach and works globally and guides CEOs and entrepreneurs on strategy, personal coaching and things. So yeah, that's Srini, and he's also going to add value during the Q&A session. Yeah. So now to Vivek. So Vivek has been a dear friend of mine, a mentor, an investor in one of my ventures, Yangpo Executive Education. So that is his passion of investing and helping entrepreneurs. As a profession, he is the group CEO of Dan Performance Group, the Dentsu Aegis company, the big, huge Japanese giant in the space of digital media, marketing, strategy, Dan Consult. So out of that popular and most in-demand verticals, Vivek is driving businesses for them across the country. And Vivek has very interesting story of his entrepreneurship journey and his corporate journey. So I'm not going to introduce to him as per the paper, but I'm leaving it to Vivek now to really take us through the journey. So Vivek, the audience here are young entrepreneurs, traditional family business owners, investors, students from the Wellinger Institute of Management, from the entrepreneurship and other courses. So this is the mix, and roundtablers and 41ers, who are spread across the world. So this is the audience. I want you to take them through your entire journey of entrepreneurship, and then how businesses transform digitally, and then what they can do actually. Yeah. So Vivek, all to you. We are going to log out, and so you are going to be there. We'll be in back screen. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, dear friends, it's great to have you guys here in the evening at 8 p.m. So I see hundreds of attendees. So I says that's quite awesome that all of you want to learn digital. So I actually started a company way back in 1997. In those days, people did not have internet, and most of the companies did not have websites. So doing digital marketing, you can imagine how tough it would have been. And we used to make CD-ROMs for companies and put the CD-ROM into the paper brochure. And we used to say, okay, now your digital transformation is complete. So that used to be our digital transformation, was putting a CD-ROM into a brochure. But I think in the last 20 years, I think the biggest change that has happened is that although digital started off as a communication, marketing, advertising medium, in the last 20 years, digital has become the age we're living in. So there's almost no aspect of a business that is not impacted by digital on a day-to-day basis. So whether you want to acquire customers, whether you want to build a brand, whether you want to train employees, whether you want to hire them, whether you want to cross-sell and upsell to your existing customers, you want to understand consumer trends, every single thing that you want to do, you need to, if my voice clear to you, sorry.
Yeah, Vivek?
Yeah, my voice is clear, right? Because I was getting some.
It's clear. A little bit, but it's clear now. Yeah.
Okay.
Not. Yeah.
Because the computer was giving me this message that your audio is not working properly, so I was wondering.
A little not clear. You will have to. Yeah, a little cracking. Yeah.
Achha. Okay. So basically, what has happened is that now in this digital age, organizations that want to remain relevant will have to start thinking with a digital mindset. It's not enough to learn about social media or search or a lot of other things that people per se sort of think digital is. Digital is now more of a mindset. Samir, is my voice decent enough now? Because I'm still getting messages from people that my voice is cracking.
It is cracking.
Yeah, so okay. They all think that they can't hear me clearly. Should I just log off and log in again?
Yeah, so let me move you into a panelist and then again bring you in. Or can you log in again, Vivek?
Yeah, I'll just log out and log in the same way I logged in before.
Yeah, that should be good. Yeah.
Yes, Samir, are you able to hear me now?
But still it's cracking, Vivek. Is there some bandwidth issue there?
So actually, I am on a very, one second. Huh? Okay, is my voice become better now?
Yeah, much better, much better.
Much better? Okay,
Yes, perfect.
perfect, great. So I had to change the input system.
Uh,
Anyway, so as long as it's become better now, then I can continue.
yeah, sure. So you can restart, Vivek, actually. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, what I was saying was that although I started this journey almost 20 years ago, that is the time when digital was very nascent. So, in fact, most people did not have internet itself, and most of the companies did not have websites. So, we started this company where we would actually make CD-ROMs and put them into company brochures. I still remember I had done this website for Muchhat Panwala, which became very famous. And that gave us a lot of business, including the MTV's first site in India. There were only 2 awards in digital in the Abby category for digital, and we had won gold in both of them. And one was them was for MTV, and there was another art website that we had won an award. But basically, that journey in the last 20 years, the biggest change that has happened is that digital no longer is about communication or advertising. Digital is the age we are sort of living in. There is every single aspect of an organization that digital sort of plays the role of a catalyst. So whether you want to acquire customers, whether you want to cross sell and upsell to existing customers, whether you want to build a brand, whether you want to acquire talent, whether you want to train talent, whether you want to understand the consumer trends, digital plays a role across every single facet of an organization. I think any organization in the next 5 to 10 years, if we as promoters of those companies don't understand digital, or more, I would say the digital mindset, we will almost not remain relevant. 15, 20 years ago, Peter Drucker had once said that there'll be 2 kinds of CEOs: those who understand globalization and the others who will be unemployed. So you can replace the word globalization with digital. I can almost assure you, if we as owners of companies, promoters of companies, CEOs of companies don't understand digital over the next 5 to 10 years, we'll become irrelevant in our organizations as well as in the industry. So what I thought was that instead of covering my entrepreneurship journey, I thought, let me sort of cover how one should think digital. Because every time when somebody mentions digital, we talk about social media, we talk about search, we talk about analytics, and all those things. Actually, in my mind, you can always hire people and agencies to do that. But as promoters of companies, as business owners, we need to develop how should we think digital. So what I tried to do was I took sort of 10 slides and tried to summarize 20 years of my experience into those 10 slides. But this is just gives you an approach how one should think digital. And once you know how to think digital, then it can be applied in your businesses and applied in every single business that you're in. So let me try attempting sort of summarizing my experiences in a short slides. So Samir, you are able to see this, right?
Yes, very well.
Yeah,
I can.
Okay, so the first thing that I'll start off with actually is that the way one should approach digital. A lot of times we have been taught in our life that we should cross every single T, we should dot every single I, we should have a complete blueprint of what we want to achieve in the next 5 to 10 years. We should have a 3-year, 5-year, 10-year business plans. I think that does not work in a digital age. Digital is almost taking a compass in your hand and you start walking in the right direction. Because if you try to create a blueprint of what needs to be done, by the time you complete the blueprint, something will change. So let me give you an example. If you take the next 5 to 10 year period, would most people have internet or not? If you feel yes, then you know that how it is going to impact your business. Would most people have a mobile phone or not? If you say yes, you should now imagine how it will impact your business. Having customer data and delivering goods to them at their homes, would that be useful and relevant? Then you should plan for it. A lot of businesses, they started collecting their customer data 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and built a sort of a partly a business that could deliver goods and services to home, were not impacted as much today. So now everybody's rushing to create that today, but people who created it 5 years ago today are benefiting from that process of creating it. So what you have to do is, a lot of times people spend a lot of time in just trying to perfect everything. Like, I should have this perfect website, I should have this perfect analytics, I should have this perfect delivery system. All those things are not the way one should look at digital. Digital should be, this is the direction I want to move in, start taking a step. So imagine that you are walking in this mist or fog in a hill station, not a hill station in Bombay, because there is no fog in hill stations near Bombay, but you walk in a hill station fog. If you don't walk forward, you will not get any visibility. You can stand there forever, but you will not see what's happening, and you'll not be able to move forward. As you move forward, you'll be able to see what's happening in the front, and then you'll be able to go forward and forward and forward, and one day you'll be 100 miles in the front. So digital is the same. You take a compass in your hand and you start walking. If you try to create this blueprint, you'll not be able to build anything for your business. Just adding to that, right? There is this very famous book of Jim Collins called Good to Great. Both these points actually have been covered by him, and this is very, very relevant to digital. So generally what happens is, I've had companies who come to me today, say, Vivek, you know what? Now I realize how important digital is. I'm going to put all my budgets to digital. Digital doesn't work that way. Digital works where you fire a bullet, calibrate it. So let's say you are a 100 crore company, then 1 crore rupees could be a bullet. If you are a 1 crore rupee company, then 1 lakh rupees is a bullet. So you have to fire a bullet, calibrate it, that ये मैंने try करके देखा, चलता है नहीं चलता है. If it works, then put the next 10 lakhs. Put the next 10 lakhs. Only after you have perfected it, that this really, really works, then you put 10 crores. But actually the most important part in this is that in either case, you have to throw the cannonball. So if you're a 100 crore company, you try with a 1 crore rupee budget, but then you keep on putting in 1 crore rupees towards that initiative, then you will never succeed. So once it works, then you have to put in 5, then you have to put in 10, then you have to put in 50. Then you have to bet your business on that future. If you keep on firing bullets, you will never be able to create impact. So it's very, very important that test out different models, whether they, so if you take businesses generally have something called resources, which is money, people, technology, etc. Second is sort of culture, or we call it processes. And third is the profit formula or the business model. So digital is about trying out different business models and different profit formulas. The one that works, then you can throw a cannonball behind it and move forward with it. Now I'm going to cover this. This is very specific to people who do any kind of advertising. So if you have a business that does advertising, the digital approach to advertising is very different from conventional media approach. So let's say you have a newspaper ad. So you will spend 100 rupees on Times of India. You'll pay 1-2 rupees to the agency who released that ad. You pay 1-2 rupees to the person who created the creative for the ad. And 96 rupees is given to Times of India. You do the same thing on Star TV, you do the same thing on every other conventional media advertising format. Digital works differently. Digital, the publisher should be given only 60 to 65% of that money, because digital requires individual creatives for each person that you're trying to reach out to. There is analytics involved. There is a web presence involved, which is a website, YouTube, Instagram, content, all those things. Then there is you need to probably pay influencers. So when you take all those other costs, then your 60 rupees that you're putting towards media will get a multiplier. So let's assume, let me put it this way. If you had 100 rupees and it could buy you 60 clicks or 100 clicks, by putting in 60 rupees and 40 rupees to all the other things that I said, there is a possibility that you could get 120 clicks with same 60 rupees, because the cost of media actually goes down when you make your creative more relevant or you make your content more precise for the audience you're trying to reach. So a lot of times people make mistakes that I spend only 4 rupees on everything in conventional media. I should do the same for digital. And then the media gets wasted and they don't get ROI from their media. So this is a very important point that people should remember. I've asked this question in a packed room, that how many people are happy with their websites. So generally, even in 1,000 people audiences, very few hands go up. So I think they have this internal process of revamping their website. In this period where people are trying to make a better website, they have not realized that now only 10% of the internet audience actually ends up on a website. 90% of the internet audience are using the same content either on a mobile phone, they're using it on an app, they're going to YouTube, they're going to Instagram, they're going to Facebook, they're going to Snapchat. And the ability for them to consume information on a website, only 1/10 of the users are actually consuming information from a website. So whatever website you have, you're fine. You should plan for a web presence. So if you have 100 rupees for your website, put 10 rupees of that towards the website and 90 rupees towards all the other things that I named. And most important, that is content creation. If you don't actually create content, then you will never get the benefit of a digital strategy itself. So the other thing, what I would suggest is, the very fact is all of you guys are here trying to learn digital. This is a step in the right direction, because just imagine, right? Imagine that what is the role of an agency? The role of an agency is to be a Sherpa. What is the role of a Sherpa? We have almost 5,000 people in India who work in digital. We have almost 30,000 people globally who are digital specialists in all aspects of digital. But we can walk with you through the journey to the top of the Mount Everest. But we can walk with you. We can do heavy lifting because we 5,000 people, we can carry more load for you, but you have to be digitally fit. If you don't understand digital and you don't have a digital mindset and you don't allow us to make mistakes, that firing bullets and throwing a cannonball, then regardless of what we do, we can't carry you up to the mountain. So the role of whichever digital partner you have should be to act like your Sherpa, walk with you through that journey. And for you to have the digital mindset is very important. Digital mindset could be that you take data-driven decisions. Digital mindset should be that you let the agency or your employees fire bullets and fail. When you fire a bullet, it doesn't hit the target. That means that bullet failed. But when you lose that 10 lakh rupees and you're a 100 crore rupee company, if you're going to make that person, penalize that person for losing the 10 lakh rupees, then he will end up losing a crore rupees for you tomorrow, because then he'll have to throw the cannonball, right? He'll not be able to fire the bullet. So accepting failure and learning that failure will allow you to succeed in the future is a digital mindset. So having that digital mindset also is becoming digitally fit, understanding how digital industry operates. I'll skip this, but basically you have to be platform and device agnostic. A typical household like ours today has 15-20 screens in a house, right? From TVs that are connected to Google Homes that are connected, right, to headphones that are connected, different devices on phones. So we are going to get consumers from all these platforms. So having a strategy that works on a website in a desktop kind of environment is so 10 years ago, 20 years ago. So one has to have complete agnostic behavior towards platforms and devices. So when I said about digital fitness about yourself, I'm also meaning the digital fitness of an organization. So are you making sure that everybody in the company who digitally, are they trained or not? So many times I've said that, I allow everybody to make mistakes. I said, okay, tell me in the last 3 months, how many mistakes have your organization made, which were really, really bad mistakes? Can you describe them? So when they are completely blank, he said, no, I don't remember. I said, listen, the very fact is, if you can't remember a single mistake your organization has made in the last 6 months, that means nobody's coming to you with the mistakes they made. Otherwise, you would have had hundreds of them tip of your fingers, because you would have known what mistakes made you lose money. So either people are not attempting anything which is new, or the fact of the matter is, if they make a mistake, they're not telling you about it. Both of them is bad for a digital mindset. Now, the other thing is that digital is a catalyst across every single thing that you do. So it's very, very important that digital should be treated as such. So I'm going to now cover one last point, which is the most important point, and then cover a few buzzwords of digital. The first thing is that so many times people ask me that what should be my digital strategy. So my answer to that always has been that if you can get your content strategy right, then it's almost you will get your digital strategy right, especially if you're small businesses, right? So let me give you an example. If you are a business who wants to target a certain kind of target audience, let's say people who buy jewelry from you. Now, if you want to target that, you have to realize that what is the kind of content would they be consuming? And it could be even lateral content. So let me take an example that what if you took content which is cooking, but you took content of exotic dishes? How do you make the most exotic dishes that people can hear of, right? Whether it's khause or whether it's some kind of mushroom soup or it's continental food, etc. And that content would be consumed by people who would be homemakers, who per se would be people who could be a target audience for an affluent community, or somebody who will buy luxury, somebody who will buy jewelry. And when they're buying it, in that process, you will be able to communicate to them that you are the person who can create something for them that will be useful to them. In this case, jewelry, whether it gives you security of gold in these tough times, or it gives you the way to create a savings for yourself, or how you are the best designer, how you charge less for whatever jewelry you make. So there are three pillars of digital. There is paid media. Content reduces cost of paid media. The other pillar of digital is organic traffic that you get from Google when you search for it. So Google's job is to make sure that the person comes to the place where there is content. Content drives organic traffic. So again, very, very critical that content plays a role in organic. And all of social media depends on content. All of engagement that you get on content happens only because of content. So if you get your content strategy right for your brand, then you will actually benefit from both paid, organic, and social, which are the three pillars of digital. So now I want to go back and cover a few points on digital slightly differently. A lot of businesses that I talk to, which especially family-based businesses or run by promoters on a day-to-day basis, they have this very different notion of digital, right? So as soon as they talk about, oh, losses, so they say, oh, you know what, ये digital business नहीं चलेगा, इसमें हमेशा loss ही होते रहता है. So you don't understand. Let's take an example. If you were setting up an oil refinery today, then you would have to invest almost 30, 40, 50,000 crore rupees today to create their oil refinery. It will take you 5 years to make it. The first barrel of oil you produce, you may only make $5 of profit on that barrel. But you know, accounting systems were created 200 years ago. So what they do is that last 5 years of all the money that you put in, it is put in as capital cost. And because it's put in as capital cost, it does not impact profit. It can be amortized over a 20, 30, 40 year period. But tomorrow, if you have to close down the refinery, then you'll not recover most of it, right? That will go down the tube. Your cost of machines and all the things would become half or 1/3. So the fact of the matter is that accounting systems that are created 200 years ago are judging businesses that are 20 years old. In digital, today what you are investing in, today Amazon is worth something, but they are on a domain name which costs $10. So it's very, very important that you understand that you can't apply the same accounting systems to digital businesses today. But people who have money, who are valuing those businesses, they must have seen something in it. So it's important to understand digital businesses before you discount them, because maybe a company that supposedly will make losses in the right now, but will end up making substantial profits tomorrow and will disrupt your business, and you ignored it, you could have actually done it better than that company. But because you didn't understand digital, you missed out on that opportunity. Only last one thing I'll cover before I take questions is that understanding exponential technologies is a very integral part of digital businesses and digital economy per se. 1 becomes 2, becomes 4, becomes 8. When some things grow exponentially, it's impossible to know when it's going to come in and disrupt your industry. So many times I've seen people, they say, oh, you know what, this is only 1% of my industry. इससे कुछ नहीं होने वाला है. इसको तो अभी 20 साल लगेंगे. पर वो 1% जो है, that has been doubling every month for the last 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. So it was 0.0001, then it became 0.00002, and like this it has reached 1. So next month it could become 2. Next month it could become 4. Next month it could become 8. Next month could be 16. So before you know it, in 1 year's time, it will threaten your industry. So till the time you know what the rate of doubling of that industry is and where it is today, you will miss out on some trends that could completely obliterate your industry. And a lot of people miss out on, जब वो 1% दिखना शुरू हो जाता है ना, probably in most cases is already too late. जब वो 10% हो गया है तो 100% is too late, because तो 10 का 20 होएगा, 40 होएगा, 80 होएगा in 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. So it's very, very important to understand how our industries are going to get impacted and we start preparing for it. So I think this is an opportunity rather than a crisis. This will accelerate us as businesses to digitize ourselves as quickly as possible, create that data of our customers, figure out ways in which we can fire these bullets and know what a cannonball is going to be. And I think today there is no promoter or no business owner who does not realize the importance of digital, because dhanda hi nahi hai. The same thing, if this also doesn't allow us to transform our organization towards digital, then nothing else will. So it's very, very critical that we do it as quickly as possible now, because I think we have realized that digital is the way the world is going to live. And they have these words called the new normal, unprecedented, now more than ever. People will have to learn digital, execute digital in their businesses if they want to remain relevant in their businesses and their lives. So again, this was my half an hour monologue completely, Sameer. So I'm open to any questions that the audience will have.
So Vivek, that was fantastic. Very short and crisp, sweet manner. You explained what is happening what has happened for last 2 decades in the world of digital transformation, how things are changing, and what is the very largely used word, exponential growth. So as they say, change first happens gradually and then suddenly. And I think we are at that tipping point across the world, in business, in education, everywhere. So now what we are going to do, I am going to bring on the screen 3 of young entrepreneurs from across the country, from different sectors, and they will have some of their questions. We will try to answer them, and then we will open up the question answer session for our guest also. Yeah.
So I see a lot of questions, Sameer, like.
Yeah, I can see them. Yeah. But I will first, so let me take the honor of first, and the privilege to first get our alumni from the Wellinkar Entrepreneurship Program.
Okay.
Yeah. So just give me a second, please. Till then, you can in fact, Vivek, see some questions there, very interesting ones.
Yeah, very, very interesting. So
yeah, just
so you bring them on. Should I just start replying some of these questions?
No, yeah, I think our guys are on board. So yeah, hi Pushkaraj.
Hi sir.
Okay, hi. So Vivek, we have Pushkaraj Chipade from Kolhapur. They are a 3rd generation, 100-year-old jewelry retail chain in Kolhapur and that part of Maharashtra. So we have Pushkaraj, who was our alumnus in the Entrepreneurship Family Program. We have Harshavardhan Mishra. He is a textile manufacturer, synthetics, again our participants. And we have Krishna, who is into oil and oil field equipment manufacturing. So probably Krishna, you can start with your question, then we will go one by one and then we will take it from there. Yeah.
Hello sir, a very good evening to all.
You have to be a little loud.
Yeah,
Krishna?
yeah. Am I audible sir now?
Yeah, much better.
Yeah. I would like to know about the roadmap and the skill required to introduce digitization in a traditionally run MSMEs and SMEs companies. So how can we start the digitization process in traditionally run companies?
See, my belief, Krishna, is that a lot of times when we go back from our education, we try to do this digital transformation. The problem with digital transformation, what happens is that it requires a lot of money, requires these big consultants, and there is very limited buy-in from the people concerned. And then what we do is that, let me give you an example, right? So let's say somebody says that, okay, I'm going to create this digitalization of this process that we have. But then what happens is that there are so many challenges with old businesses that have been running for 50 years, 100 years, right? That digitizing that process, changing the mindset of every single person in the company is almost impossible.
Yeah.
So what I would suggest is, right, what you do is you take up one pain point. Let's say it could be training people. It could be hiring people. It could be, how do you get data from distributors and dealers? So what you do is you take up one thing and see that you are able to create a tangible business goal from it. So let's say, don't take up कि मैं इतना Facebook का इतना likes कर दूंगी या मैं इतने YouTube के videos आ जाएंगे, because then somebody is going to ask you at the end of the year, so what, 1 billion view आ गया तो so what? So you take up a goal which is a business goal. You say, okay, we have 1,000 customers. I will increase the business that we get from the same customers more than what it was growth last year. So existing customer का हम growth करेंगे.
Right.
Then what happens is you are able to talk to them through digital, you are able to target them through custom audiences of Facebook, you are able to give them new product information, you are able to figure out ways in which you can solve the problem with your products. And then what happens is if you increase the business from existing customers by 30% and every year is to increase only by 10%, then that 20% extra will give you credibility within the organization. And when tomorrow you ask for 10% of revenue again further, you'll get that money.
Right.
पहले ही वो पैसा वेस्ट कर देंगे तो फिर क्रेडिबिलिटी भी नहीं मिलेगी और फिर वो बोलेंगे अच्छा तुमको 1 बिलियन व्यूज तो मिल गए but so what? So take a business goal. Whatever business goal is. Business goals like revenue, profit, all these are business goals that promoters understand, right? Your father, your uncle, your tauji will understand those goals.
Right.
धंधा बढ़ाओगे, प्रॉफिट बढ़ाओगे तो कोई मना नहीं करेगा कि बहुत बेटा और पैसा ले लो और प्रॉफिट बढ़ाओ.
True. True. So my second question is like we are into the B2B business. So being in a B2B business, it is tough to get a digital way of marketing, get the branding done for the B2B businesses as compared to the B2C because they have a large masses of consumers. So how can we go ahead in the B2B and use the digital media to create a brand and set a good mark in the
Actually, B2B business is actually even better.
I'll just add little something here. This question is coming on the Q&A also, where they want to know how is a B2B business marketing different from B2C. So there are people who are manufacturing. Somebody said, I'm a sanitary ware manufacturer, but I'm B2B chemical company. So this is so we can address it in that fashion, what she's saying.
Absolutely. So I think, Krishna, in B2B businesses, actually digital works better. So what is the specialty of digital? In most of the mediums, you end up reaching to millions of people. In digital, you can reach out to specific people. Generally, in most businesses, there is an extension of Pareto rule. Pareto rule says that 20% of the customers do 80% of the revenues, right? But when you take that 20% of the customers, they end up giving you 200% of the profits. Right. In B2B businesses, one customer could be 1 crore rupees, one customer could be worth 50 crore rupees. Unfortunately, we treat both of them similarly. So now what happens is in marketing, let's say if you take LinkedIn, LinkedIn in-mail can work beautifully for B2B businesses.
Okay.
If you put the email address and phone number of that person on custom audiences on Facebook, only those people will see the ad.
Right.
What if you were to take the top 50 customers you have and you as Krishna, what if you interviewed them? You interviewed them कि आप मेरे को बताइए आपने ये business कैसे establish किया? आपको क्या-क्या तकलीफें हुई? How did you grow your business? How did you meet your capital requirements? How did you raise capital? How did you maintain the bank relationship? Now that will be useful to all the other customers. And that person would love to get interviewed by a person like you. You come from the business family. You are, वो बोलते हैं ना, बहू है, बेटी है, घर की, right? So imagine that would be seen by a lot of people.
Right.
But that is marketing, right?
Yeah.
Because everybody in the industry will see that video. फिर उसको क्या याद आएगा? अच्छा यार अभी RFP है, ये माल लेना है, वो कृष्णा को फोन करते हैं यार. Right. So B2B businesses actually, so the key is that what is the business goal? The business goal is revenues and profits. Once you have that, it is much easier to build that strategy and business. And these are things which I'm just throwing off the hat right now, right?
Yeah.
But obviously, when I understand the business, understand the things, I will be able to come out with what exactly can be done.
Yeah.
But just you get the gist
Yes,
of it, right?
gist of it. Yeah, I got it. So my last question would be, how can we So you're not audible, so please unmute yourself.
I think
Krishna, we'll have to give chance to others.
Yes.
And we'll take a question with time
For
permit, yeah?
sure. Yeah.
Okay. So Pushkara, you can ask a question. आप आपका question पूछ सकते हैं. You can even ask it in Hindi, Pushkara, so that the retail sector which is watching us also benefits from it. You can ask in Marathi also. I can translate.
Okay.
Or English.
Okay, sir.
Or
I'll just ask in Hindi.
Hindi.
ठीक है.
So I'll introduce myself. I am Pushkaras Chipde. So मैं कोल्हापुर से हूँ. Like 100 years हो गए हमारे showroom को. So now we have 2 showrooms in Kolhapur. And मेरा सवाल ये था कि in tier 2 and tier 3 cities like Kolhapur, मतलब Kolhapur is big enough, but not if you take like literacy wise, digital literacy wise, उतना लोग transform नहीं हुए. So my what we say, the customer base is like farmers who come from rural areas, and these customers they are like they don't have any investment ideas other than gold and land. So these are the most frequent buyers. So if I have to target this audience, this rural area people, so how can I reach them? And even if I reach them, how should I encourage them to buy online?
20 साल पहले, digital was niche. Last 1-2 साल में digital has become mass. So आपके जो भी customers हैं, अगर वो gold ले सकते हैं, तो वो WhatsApp भी use करते होंगे, right? Almost. So now that means all of them are reachable through WhatsApp. अब उनको आप क्या दे सकते हैं, right? So let's assume that suppose farmer है, and there is this Hindustan Lever had done something very interesting. वो बिहार एंड यूपी में उनने एक रेडियो बनाया था, which basically वो क्या होता था कि आप मिस कॉल दो and उसके बाद में आपको फोन आएगा and आपको 5 मिनट का गाना सुनाएगा, चुटकुले सुनाएगा, स्टोरी सुनाएगा, पर रेडियो है फ्री में. बट वो 5 मिनट के रेडियो प्रोग्राम में बीच में हिंदुस्तान लीवर के ऐड जाते थे. सो वो जो था इतना पॉपुलर हो गया दैट उनको वो जो मीडिया डार्क मार्केट था वहां पे उनको कस्टमर मिलने शुरू हो गए. हजारों विलेजेस में जहाँ पे उनका डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन में ही नहीं था, वो लोग आते थे ऐसी सिटीज में जहाँ पे हिंदुस्तान लीवर प्रोडक्ट्स मिलते थे और लेके वापस जाते थे, बिकॉज इतने महीनों से वो सुन रहे थे ये हो रहा है. सो इंडिया इस समय इस स्टेज पे पहुंच गया है जहाँ पे एवरी सिंगल पर्सन हैज डिजिटल. आप एसएमएस यूज कर सकते हो. अच्छा, वॉल्यूम इज लो, समबडी इज सेइंग. ठीक है, चलो, आई थिंक आई ट्राई टू स्पीक लाउडर. बट बेसिकली डिजिटल नाउ हैज रीच्ड दैट फेज दैट आप किसी को भी पहुंच सकते हो डिजिटल के थ्रू. आपको जो ढूंढना है कि उनको क्या चीज चाहिए जिससे वो आपका वो व्हाट्सएप रिसीव करने के लिए खुश रहे. अभी लेट्स अज्यूम दैट आपने आइडेंटिफाई किया कि ये न्यूज आइटम जो है, आपने टाई अप किया एक लोकल न्यूज़पेपर के साथ में, लोकमत है जो भी है, और बोला कि ये जो आइटम है विच इज द प्राइजेस ऑफ दीज 20 प्रोडक्ट्स. जो भी फार्मर होएगा वो जब भी एक बार आपके स्टोरूम में आएगा उसको एक चॉइस दी जाएगी. आपको ये 20 आइटम के प्राइजेस अगर हम रोज भेजें, आपको इंटरेस्ट रहेगा? अगर रहेगा तो इस नंबर पे आप एक व्हाट्सएप भेज दो या एक मिस्ड कॉल दे दो. आपको ये हर सुबह आ जाएगा. किसी और को क्या इंफॉर्मेशन चाहिए. और दूसरा क्या है ना, आपको ये भी देखना चाहिए कि एक तो आपका ऑडियंस है जो गोल्ड सेविंग्स के लिए लेता है, पर वो जो है आपका सबसे प्रीमियम ऑडियंस नहीं है, उसमें आपको सबसे ज्यादा मार्जिन नहीं मिलता है. देयर इज अनदर ऑडियंस, वो गोल्ड ले सकता है पर अभी जो है वो हैंडबैग लेने लग गया है, वो मोबाइल फोन लेने लग गया है. तो जो माइंड में था कि मैं सेठानी कैसे हूं, मैंने हार पहना है जो महंगा है. अभी मैं सेठानी कैसे हूं, मैं आईफोन 11 प्रो लेके घूम रही हूँ. आपका जो कंपटीशन है आईफोन 11 प्रो है, अगर आप आज नहीं समझोगे कि ये आपका कंपटीशन है, तो कल जो है ये लोग जो है वो अर्मेस बैग्स पे जाएंगे, बर्किन बैग पे जाएंगे और वो ज्वेलरी लेना बंद कर देंगे, राइट. तो वो जो है अभी नहीं होएगा, 5 साल बाद होएगा, 10 साल बाद होएगा. ये बॉम्बे में आज हो रहा है, कोल्हापुर में 5 साल बाद होएगा, और 10 साल के बाद में उसका इम्पैक्ट ज्यादा होएगा। पर आप इस समय जाके अब 10 ज्वेलर से बात करोगे बॉम्बे में, उनको इम्पैक्ट आज हो रहा है, बिकॉज जो बहू बेटियां हैं वो नहीं ले रही हैं, माँ अभी भी ले रही है, पर जब वो बहू बेटियां माँ बनेंगी और वो लेना बंद करेंगी तब आपका धंधा इम्पैक्ट होएगा। पर आपको अभी मालूम होना चाहिए कि 10 साल के बाद में इम्पैक्ट होने वाला है। तो आप इस समय क्या कर सकते हो कि आप चेंज कर लो, चाहे डिजाइन चेंज करनी पड़े, चाहे आपके हार के अंदर RFID हो, चाहे वो टेक्नोलॉजी की जगह उसमें आप क्या इनोवेशन कर सकते हो, आप डिजाइन कॉम्पिटिशन कर सकते हो। मे बी यू कैन हैव अ iPhone कवर दैट इज मेड ऑफ सम काइंड ऑफ थिंग विच इज एक्सपेंसिव, राइट? तो आप उसमें काफी इनोवेशन कर सकते हो अगर आप आइडेंटिफाई कर लो कि ये प्रॉब्लम हो सकता है और हो रहा है। अब वही बोलोगे कि वो जो फार्मर है वो गोल्ड सेविंग के लिए लेता है, उसको मैं डिजिटल कैसे वो करूं? आपका बिजनेस को बड़े ज्यादा फंडामेंटल प्रॉब्लम्स हैं। सो डिजिटल is just a part of the strategy, right? It is not a panacea for all evil. It's not a silver bullet. So you have to get your strategy right, and that is where our MBAs and the people that we talk to come in, right? We are successful in implementing digital because we understand digital is an execution mechanism, but वो strategy clear होनी चाहिए कि हमारा next 10 साल में 20 साल में goal क्या है. I hope that somewhat answers your question to a certain extent.
Yeah, sir, definitely.
Yeah, it's a very relevant example, Vivek. Our family used to run sari businesses before, you know, very expensive wedding saris and festive saris. That business has completely now come to a standstill. Youngsters don't want to wear saris, right? They maybe probably rent saris from the designers now. Where you were giving 25, 50, 100 saris as gifts, people are now giving Punjabi dresses. So same might happen in the gold business also, or in the diamond business also. Yeah.
So just imagine, right? I actually attended a Harvard, I'd just gone to meet one of the deans in Harvard, and he allowed me to come and attend the class for 3 hours. They covered this thing called Rent the Runway, which was basically a business built, which is now worth hundreds of millions of dollars in US. वो क्या करता है? वो designer dress rent पे देता है.
Yes.
That's all they do. It's called Rent
And
the
that
Runway.
girl is a Harvard alumnus. I know her.
Yeah.
Solid case study. It's a funded company. So same might happen, Pushkaraj, even in your jewelry business. It might be about renting now for occasions. That could open up a new model for you. You can use technology.
So recently I got to know there's a company in Pune. I don't know the jeweler's name. So he actually does this. He gives pay-per-use jewelry to people for the heavy necklace the bridal only wears on her wedding day. So he gives them, yeah.
So that could be possible digital, and you really can do this across the world through FedEx kind of a company.
So in fact, like one of my very close friends, she runs this thing called Magic Mirror. So Magic Mirror में क्या होता है? वो iPad होता है, वो लगाती है, right? And you can see what it looks like, right?
Yeah.
Now you don't need stock. So imagine the guy who's going to compete with you. See, what is the biggest competitive edge old jewelers have, right? आपके पास में stock है, आपके पास में पैसा है, तो नया जना जो है वो शोरूम बनाएगा, एक बना लेगा, दो बना लेगा, पर उसके पास स्टॉक तो हो ही नहीं सकता है, और लोग भी आके उसकी ज्वेलरी उसके वहां पे नहीं छोड़ेंगे। पर अगर वो डिजिटल कर ले और आपसे वो 10% कम में बेचने को तैयार हो जाए, बिकॉज आपके पास में शोरूम है, प्राइस है, ये सब है, तो ये जो आप सेविंग्स वाले हैं वो 10% के लिए उससे लेना शुरू कर सकते हैं, अगर वो गारंटी कर दे, राइट? वो गारंटी कर दे कि ये मशीन है, एंड एक सेलिब्रिटी आके बोल दे, जो कोल्हापुर का सबसे ज्यादा बड़ा रिस्पेक्टेड आदमी है, कि ये मशीन से ये टेस्ट होके ये 100% 22 कैरेट गोल्ड है, तो उसको सिर्फ क्रेडिबिलिटी चाहिए, राइट? एंड उसके बिना विदाउट योर शोरूम he can do this. But imagine, right, you can now go into 100 cities doing this model and expanding beyond Kolhapur tomorrow. So it's not that somebody has to come and disrupt you in Kolhapur, right? You can go and disrupt other people, na? Because जहाँ पे शोरूम तो है ही, पर बाकी जगह पे मैं ये बनाऊंगा, 100 cities में मेरा शोरूम खोलूंगा.
This is a very clear example of thinking digital, not only doing digital Facebook and social media. That gives us reach, right? So Harshavardhan, introduce yourself and you can ask your question, which industry you belong to, what is your background, and what you have in mind for the future. So friends, Harshavardhan has been a very prominent and very visible active student in the family business program at Wellinger. He's been featuring in a lot of things. So Harshavardhan has great ideas, and I think Vivek can add great value to what he has to ask.
Thank you so much, sir. That was very kind. Sameer sir, thank you for organizing this webinar. Good evening, Vivek sir and Srinivasan sir. Thank you for getting ready to help us cope with these changing times to begin with. So, sir, I have my question, and it's of two parts, Vivek sir, and I'll repeat it in Hindi as well. So, how pervasive? Can you hear me? Am I audible?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. So how pervasive should the first step be in digitization for traditional manufacturing industries? So I'm talking vis-a-vis a paid digital organization, media firm, or going organic through AdWords and Google Analytics. So what should be like the first step? तो कितना deep जाना चाहिए digitization के लिए कि पहले ही, क्योंकि packages बहुत सारे हैं सर market में, like अगर मैं firm के पास जाऊँ तो they say कि okay fine हम ये cover करेंगे, all this will happen, this is this package, but then again shall we start small, going through the Google AdWords and Analytics using the same? Part two of my question will follow. Just this.
I think, Harsh, the way I look at it now, I think you are confusing digital marketing with digital. And this is the biggest challenge a lot of people face, right? Don't think of digital marketing and compare it to digital. Digital is the age we're living in. It's a mindset that can transform your business. It is something that will create a long-term sustainable benefit to your organization if you adopt digital today. Now, in digital marketing, there are hundreds of ways that you can do, right? AdWords hai, ye hai. But what happens is that most of these mediums depend on the business goal you have. So if you want to acquire customers who are searching for you, AdWords is great. If you want to target specific segments of audiences, in a way, Facebook works best. If you want to do information dissemination, Twitter does a job. If you want to do brand building and you want to communicate to somebody why they should use your product and you want a TV kind of a experience, then YouTube works good. So these platforms all depend on the business objective that you want to achieve. But I have a more fundamental thing, right? So a digital mindset would be that अभी तक जो मेरा distribution होता है वो मेरे dealers and distributors करते हैं, जो actually end user है उसके पास मेरा data ही नहीं है मेरे पास में. So what happens when COVID-19 happened, उनका धंधा बंद हो गया, मेरा धंधा भी बंद हो गया. Even though I was in a position to ship them directly. Or when they open out also, I don't have any data. I've been in the business for 20 years. और जो मेरा end user है उसके साथ मेरा उसका number, नाम कुछ है ही नहीं मेरे पास में. So now what happens is next 5 years मेरा एक goal है कि मेरे पास में सबका name, number और email address होना चाहिए. So how am I going to do it? मेरा business 100 करोड़ रुपए का है. I'm going to put a QR code and give a car away every month. So you come and scan my product when you buy it and you have a chance to win a car. The dealers and distributors would not realize what you're doing, right? They don't need to. But the fact of the matter is, गाड़ी के लिए काफी लोग scan करेंगे. In the next 3 months, 6 months, 1 year period, there is a possibility that all your customers have scanned and you have given out 12 cars. पर 12 गाड़ी कितनी हुई? 7 लाख रुपए की हुई. तेरा 100 करोड़ का business है. That means 6%, right? Not even 6%, 0.6% of your revenues you spend in collecting the data which you've not collected in 35 years of your business. So now what happens is, that's the way you think digital. Digital is not कि वो AdWords करना है या वो करना है, उससे आपका क्या needle move होएगा यार. आप ओनर के बच्चे हो, business बनाना है. We are wasting our time doing these stupid things and then that's the reason ताऊ जी बोलते हैं कि बॉस तूने ये कर लिया, 100 रुपए का धंधा आया है, तू यार ये सब छोड़ दे तू. Because we've only gone and told them that boss AdWords करेंगे digital हो जाता है. AdWords is nothing यार. It's like saying boss मैंने एक classified दे दिया तो advertising हो गई. Right? So you have to be very clear what you are trying to sell to your promoter, your father, your uncle, that they start depending on you. If you collect this data, right? See, पहली बात तो 60 लाख रुपए बेचना आसान नहीं होएगा. पर अभी जो है, अभी जाओगे तो शायद बिक जाएगा. Because what will happen is, देखो, 30 साल में we don't have customer data. Our business went from 100 to 0. We had customer data. We could have shipped to them directly because there were 100 other essential providers who are willing to collect goods and send it to the customer's house. पर अपने पास डेटा ही नहीं है. तो हम 100 करोड़ की कंपनी है, एक बार अपन 60 लाख रुपए खर्चा करके देखते हैं. Let's see how much data we collect. And next time जो है एक रीजन में जो डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर डीलर अपने और लोगों का भी माल बेच रहा है, उसको हम डीलरशिप हटा देंगे, उस रीजन में हम डायरेक्टली कस्टमर को बेच के देखते हैं हमारा धंधा कम होता है या बढ़ता है। उसमें जितना हम डीलर को दे रहे थे 30%, उसमें हम एडवर्टाइजिंग करेंगे उस रीजन में और माल बेच के देखेंगे, राइट। एक रीजन में, एक सिटी में तो ट्राई करने देंगे अपने को, हो गया फिर 10 सिटी में करो, फिर 100 सिटी में करो, फिर 500 सिटी में करो, राइट। आई थिंक द बिगेस्ट मिस्टेक वी मेक एज फैमिली बिजनेसेस इज वी गो बैक एंड सेल सच अ स्मॉल पिडली थिंग, राइट, कि वो मेरे को 1 लाख रुपया गूगल एडवर्ड्स के लिए दे दो, और फिर वो बोलते हैं अच्छा तूने कर लिया, क्या हुआ, एंड देन वी डोंट हैव एन आंसर फॉर इट बिकॉज वी वर नॉट क्लियर व्हाट आवर बिजनेस गोल वाज फ्रॉम गूगल एडवर्ड्स। हमने सुना था कि गूगल एडवर्ड्स अच्छा होता है और विवेक भार्गव ने बोला करना है तो कर दिया। So again, sorry, Harsh, being little,
No,
rude,
absolutely, sir. In fact, this is one of the biggest mind blocks I've been facing. So, COVID mein actually, I can speak for my fellow COVID victims also, like all. कि हमारा एम ही ये रहा है कि जिस मार्केट में एस्टैब्लिश्ड हैं, मार्केट्स की डिमांड्स तो कम हो नहीं रही, द मशीन्स आर नॉट गोना बी स्टॉपिंग, सो हाउ विल द कस्टमर्स डायरेक्टली अप्रोच अस? देन कम्स टू द पॉइंट्स दैट यू मेंशन्ड इन योर मोनोलॉग दैट the website, you need to have web presence first off. Like if someone wants it, then where do they go? You know, because everything in the textile industry is absolutely word of mouth. So yeah, what you're saying,
you know what, you don't need a web presence, right? I'm just saying, if you collect customer data, right, now you can have a bot where a person can go to that bot and say that I want to buy a shirt. You say red shirt, so there's 60 shirts will come in. Whatever business you are in, right, the bot can give him the information at will, at time, immediately. That's what I think the biggest mistake is. We should not go back के इसके लिए मेरे को क्या चाहिए, धंधा क्या है, हमको बेचना है ना. So there are 20,000 ways in doing this. There is a thing where you pay somebody today, they'll build your website, they'll take a 8% of your revenues and start selling for you today onwards. वो डिलीवरी भी करेंगे, बेचेंगे भी, रेवेन्यू शेयर लेंगे, and you can promote it among your customers. वो डीलर से तो 1/3 लेंगे. See, once you know now this is what the thing you want to do, and do it as a pilot, do it in one city, do it in one state, do it in one that, do it with one dealer. एक डीलर होएगा जो फैमिली को नहीं अच्छा लगता होएगा, बहुत परेशान करता होएगा, उसको पहले काटो, right? So little openness, everybody support you also ना, उस डीलर को हटाएंगे तो.
Yeah. So we will take questions. People have raised hands, Vivek. So we'll take questions from here. So Gopal Krishna Raman, I am allowing you to talk. You can ask your question. Hello.
Yeah, Samir, I'm Gopu here.
Yeah. Please go ahead. You had a question?
Yeah, I had a question. I'm a mentor, coach, and consultant for startups as well as MSMEs.
Yeah.
So I'm coming from that space. So I had a question to Vivek. Digital marketing for a startup. Let's say they are into a startup like a pharma product or something like that. As an example, what would you advise should be a budget? Let's say that they have a seed capital of put in a seed capital of 1 CR. What kind of a budget should they allocate for digital marketing?
Okay, so Gopu, tell you what my philosophy out here is, right? Today, a startup, if they need to raise capital, they have to complete a cycle, right? So let's say I'm selling this product. My target audience is X. So what I have to do is I have to sell my product where my cost of digital marketing should be such that I'm able to recover that money within a period of 3 months, 6 months, whatever the period is. I have to complete the cycle. If I spend 1 lakh rupees and I'm able to recover that 1 lakh rupees in 3 months time, then I should spend 5 lakh rupees and recover that 5 lakh rupees in 3 months time. Then I spend 50 lakh rupees and recover that 50 lakh rupees in 3 months time. And then I go to the market and I ask for 50 crore rupees, I'll get 50 crore rupees. Because I've done that multiple times. So that cycle is most important. Whether you spend 10,000 rupees or 5 lakh rupees or 1 lakh rupees, you have to fire the bullet. You have to first make sure the cycle gets completed. So, see, digital kya hai? Digital has to be, it's called maximizing efficiencies. Conventional media is about minimizing waste. So what happens is that who's your best TG for that pharma product? Can you spend the least amount of money to make sure, maybe it's WhatsApp marketing you have to do. Maybe you have to put a QR code somewhere एंड वो QR कोड में 100 रुपया किसी को दे के उससे सब्सक्रिप्शन लेना है साल का. सो ऐसा प्रोडक्ट है जो पूरे 12 महीने के लिए वो सब्सक्राइब करेगा, तो उसको 200 रुपये का बेनिफिट दे दो और 12 महीने के लिए सब्सक्राइब कर रहे हो. सो ईच सब्सक्रिप्शन गाय इज कॉस्टिंग, is giving some value to that company. Based on that, let's say I'm an investor, I've done about 14 odd investments, right? I'm the chair for the IMAI startup committee. We are also trying to create a different virtual accelerator right now for them, because we have to change our business model, because our money was made on events that we used to have, and we should take people to China and Israel and US. अभी तो कोई जाएगा नहीं हमारे साथ में, तो हमारा पूरा business model ही change करना पड़ रहा है. So we're creating this virtual accelerator, and I think in hindsight, this is going to be a much more effective strategy than what would have been, because that was a very unscalable model. A virtual accelerator is a much more scalable model. So the key is fire a bullet, calibrate it, make money. So you have पहला 1 लाख रुपया खर्चा किया, पैसा नहीं आया वापस. दूसरा किया, 10 महीने लगे, it's not viable. तीसरा 1 लाख रुपया खर्चा किया, 3 महीने में रिकवर हो गया. Now you know it's viable. Now that audience was only 1%. That means you can grow this business 99 times with 1 lakh rupees. That means 1 crore रुपया खर्चा करोगे तब तक तो ये ROI आएगा. So you can't go wrong with that. But 1 crore खत्म हो गया, उसके में ROI नहीं आएगा. So you'll have to spend 5 lakh rupees now next time and do a pilot again. वो 5 का 3 महीने में कब रिकवर होता है. So whenever you find an audience that can give you that money back in the time that is viable for you to financially grow your business, that's the amount you should spend. Generally, I would suggest that 1% of your budget or 1% of your funding should be put into advertising as a pilot.
Okay.
You have to complete the cycle. Save वो cycle complete करे बिना आपने 20 लाख रुपए खर्चा कर दिया और वो पैसा खत्म हो गया, तो आज की दुनिया में पैसा नहीं मिलेगा.
Exactly. That's the fear.
And just to add to this question, I can read one more question, which I think you have answered, but still let me ask you, how much time we should wait to see results in a digital marketing initiative?
Yeah.
And how often do we need to review our strategy?
See, the key is now that I think you should look at the units served. So let's say for your business to be viable, let's say you need 5% conversion rate. ठीक है? So अभी तुमने अगर 30 लोगों को टारगेट किया, तो 5% of 30 is less than 1, right? So now what happens is you don't know whether it's worked or not. So only if you do 100 or you do 10, then you will, so let's say for example 5 जने को टारगेट किया, तो you will not know कि तुम्हारी strategy काम कर रही नहीं कर रही है.
True.
So you need to have this critical mass, whatever the critical mass is, to test your hypothesis. ये bullet जो है काम कर रही है नहीं कर रही है.
Okay.
And it's not the duration of time, is the number. So it should be, mathematically speaking, it should be statistically relevant data
Okay.
to know whether it's working or not.
Yeah. Otherwise, just we'll get discouraged and nothing will happen.
Exactly. But you should make changes that वो 1 लाख रुपया खर्चा किया, वो दूसरा 1 लाख रुपया जो खर्चा करना है उसमें फिर चेंज होना चाहिए, स्ट्रेटजी में चेंज होना चाहिए. If you spend again 1 lakh rupees the same way, then कोई फायदा नहीं है ना फिर.
नहीं बराबर है. So you have to review on real time.
And see, one thing people have to remember is that 20% of customers give you 200% of your profits. So your business goal should be making profits, not even revenues, because revenues can still lead to losses. So if you create profit as a goal, one of my a person who I really admire is this guy called Rajesh Jain. He sold his first company for 500 crores to Satyam 20 years ago. Now he's built one of the most successful companies in India called Netcore. And we are working with him on this model of helping companies increase their profit. But he comes out with this concept called Proficon. बोलता है unicorn है पर वो profit बनाती है. So I think everybody in this call will at least appreciate that model of creating a profit con. So same way, digital should lead to creating profits for your business, and then selling that digitalization within your business will become easier and impossible for anybody to ignore. आप उसको जाके बोलोगे कि 100 करोड़ का लॉस करेंगे फिर बाद में पैसे कमाएंगे, तो देन वो कहाँ लात पड़ेगी अपन सबको मालूम है.
So Vivek, I'm allowing Parag Shahane to speak, and he has a question on digital entrepreneurship and digital business by itself. How is it? So Parag, you can ask your question, please. Parag, go ahead.
Yeah, am I audible, Samir?
Yeah, you are very much. Go ahead, Parag.
Yeah, hi Vivek, hi Samir. I have a very different kind of question. We are talking about digital transformation to the various business and various areas there. Okay, if what's a future of a startup who wants to help all these entrepreneurs and SMEs and medium-sized businesses to their digital transformation, as well as what is the future of a machine learning? Because we keep hearing, though a technical side, we keep implementing that one, but how that is going to shape the entire digital transformation, the machine learnings, and what's a future of a startups who help people to do a digital transformation.
So
Okay,
before
so
you
Parag,
answer Vivek, I'll just add a few questions which I'm aggregating from the Q&A. So there are questions also like what Parag just asked. There are similar questions. Is there a future even now to start a digital agency or affiliate marketing? So because this is the kind of question students also, prospective students who come for the program ask. Digital new age entrepreneurship. They are family businesses many times, and they now want to do something different. They don't want to join the business. Similarly to what Parag is saying. Yeah.
यार पराग, अगर आप ये सब धंधे शुरू करोगे तो फिर मेरा क्या होएगा यार? आप मेरे पेट पे दांत मार रहे हो, मेरे को ही पूछ रहे हो मैं करूं नहीं करूं?
But sir, all the big guys like HLL, L&T, and all these big guys will go to Dentsu, Publicis, and Linda.
Parag, I'm just joking. Tell you what my challenge has been. Right? I have started a SME marketing business 10 years ago, and I struggled. The struggle that I had was that scarcity creates value. So what is happening is right now there is so much of scarcity being created for talent that what happens is that people who already have 5,000 people, already have technologies, already have global offices, already have people like me who've been doing this for 22 years, right? If you ask me, we are also losing out to the McKinseys of the world, because जो मैं आपको बोल रहा हूँ वो McKinsey मेरे को बोलता है. So what happens is that agencies like we are able to get 20 lakh rupees a month from a company. McKinsey gets 2 crore rupees a month from a company. So the quality of talent they can attract is far superior than what I can attract as Dentsu, right? Now, when you look at if you can get 2 lakh rupees a month from somebody, the quality of talent you can attract will be at 2 lakh rupee level. So you will put in your own time, which is fine. But the problem with that own time is that that's a very limited model, right? Because फिर आप 10 घंटे काम करोगे, 20 घंटे काम करोगे, उससे ज़्यादा काम नहीं कर सकते हो. So I think the opportunity is there in digital, where if people can build products. So if you take, right, Infosys today has 2.5 lakh people. The market cap of Infosys is $42 billion. Microsoft has 1.5 lakh people. The market cap is $1,200 billion. So the question you have to ask yourself is, अगर तुम कंपनी आज शुरू करने वाले हो, तुमको Infosys बनानी है या Microsoft बनानी है? दोनों बना सकते हो, दोनों में पैसा है, राइट? पर अगर आज शुरू कर रहे हो, मेरी से तो गलती हो गई, मैं तो 20 साल पहले शुरू करी, वो Infosys जैसी कंपनी बन गई, Infosys भी नहीं बना पाया, बट छोटी सी कंपनी बन गई, राइट? पर मैं आज शुरू कर रहा हूं तो मैं Infosys क्यों बनाऊं? मैं Microsoft बनाने की कोशिश करता हूं ना यार, पैसा भी मिलने को तैयार है, लोग देने को तैयार हैं, तो why would I not try to create a Google, Microsoft? And that's what people are doing today, right? There is Zoho, there is Freshdesk, there is Zomato, there is whatever, right? We're creating software companies which can be worth a few $1 billion, right? With 1/100th the number of people in the company. So if you have an opportunity today creating a services company, so just imagine, right? जब ब्रिटिश राज था, हम लोग क्या करते थे? हम लोग कॉटन एक्सपोर्ट करते थे और टेक्सटाइल इंपोर्ट करते थे. ये जो भी चल रहा है ना, लास्ट 20 साल से 30 साल से, वो ब्रिटिश राज नंबर 2 चल रहा है. हम लोग सर्विसेज एक्सपोर्ट करते हैं और प्रोडक्ट इंपोर्ट करते हैं. So value is being created by Google, by Facebook, and we are so proud that the CEO of that company is Indian. शर्म आनी चाहिए यार. 1.5 लाख लोग $1,200 billion क्रिएट करते हैं और 2.5 लाख लोग $42 billion क्रिएट करते हैं. And I am not disrespecting entrepreneurs of India who have created these phenomenal companies, right? I have grown up with Mr. Narayan Murthy kind of people being my role models. But 30 years ago, it was essential, right? खाने पीने लाले पड़े हुए थे. Now, if you are a company today and you're trying to create one more Infosys, I think there is something wrong with us. Now is the time for us to create the Google and Facebook and Microsoft, and I think we are capable of it and we will create it. People like you and me have to get into the business कि हमको Microsoft बनाना है. अभी इन्फोसिस बनाने का टाइम गया.
So true.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
this was fantastic. We are overshot our time. So thanks a lot, Vivek. Thanks, Srini, and our student teams from V School for this very interactive and interesting session on digital transformation journey. And I'm sure a lot of takeaways from this we can implement in our day-to-day life. We are going to share the link of this this program also with you soon. Also, I would request you to join in. This is the world which is now evolving, is about collaborations, about joint ventures with what China has done to the world. Lot of businesses and opportunities will come for Indian entrepreneurs and business owners like you and me. So Friday evening at 8 o'clock, we have one of India's best merger and acquisition lawyer, Mr. Nitin Podar from J. Sagar and Associates. And he's going to guide entrepreneurs and business owners about collaboration opportunities, what should be the legal structures. So do register for this program Friday 29th at 8 o'clock. Again, thank you very much to the Wellinger Institute of Management team to help us to put together this program, and we will be in touch. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, guys.
Thanks, Vivek.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thanks
you.
a lot.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.